Hello everyone, welcome to the start of 2023. The first vlog, though probably not the first video that you're seeing from me. But it's the beginning of our year of Readathons, doing the 1,000 doors, and I have already started my first book, My Brilliant Friend. To recap what's going on, if you haven't seen my announcement of the year of Readathons, it's linked down below and up above. But I'm doing the 1,000 Doors readathon, and in that video I chose my first book based on Tasman's prompt, and we ended up with My Best Friend, My Brilliant Friend, which is also translated from Italian, which I didn't know, which gives it an extra oomph to being the one that I picked. Also, this cover is just horrendous. It's good in theory, but like, it's so photoshopped. Google it, you'll get a better view of it. We went to a party out of town last night. It was very fun, but I'm very tired. But that means we had to drive on the way back. So I was able to get to page 51 in this. Feels pretty good. It's like 1 o'clock and I'm already crushing it. Unfortunately, I can tell that this isn't going to be a 5-star book. I think that there are aspects of it that I can enjoy and I'm interested to see where it goes, but it's not the type of story that I'm super interested in. We open on our narrator, who I believe is still unnamed at this point, and she's in her 60s, I believe, and she gets a call from her best friend's son saying that her best friend has gone missing, but like fully missing, like removed from all of the photographs, all of her stuff is gone. They keep saying like not even a hairpin, nothing. But then you jump back in time to when they're like 6 and you see the beginning of their friendship, and I assume it'll go from there. Though apparently this is book 1 in a series, and apparently there are like 4 of them. I'm sort of anticipating that this won't end in a satisfying way, which is unfortunate, already being 50 pages in, being like, I'm just reading it to get through it. I don't hate it. Like, I think that this could get a 3 or even a 4 from me, but it's disappointing as a first book of the year, and especially in something like this where we're kind of locked into reading one book. Thankfully, I do have the audiobook, which was also nice while driving, because generally I feel like I get car sick. I drive so much now that I notice it less, but I think being able to not fully focus on the page and be able to look up whenever I want because the audiobook is still going, that was super helpful for me. But the one thing that's bugging me is the brilliant friend in here. Her name is Leela, but it's spelled Lila, and so I think she's doing it wrong every time, but maybe I'm the one who's wrong, assuming that it's Lila. Also, with them having jumped back to their childhood, it's jumping into 60s, the 50s, and talking about Italy in that time, which lends it to historical fiction even though it's not, and just, yeah. This is not my perfect combination of things. Also, I know from doing like trial runs of the 1,000 Doors readathon that the questions aren't always what is your star rating for this. Some of them are about the characters or about the setting or stuff like that. So there's still a multitude of ways that this could go outside of my star rating. Also, I have a goal this year that I want to not expand my vocabulary, but like be more intentional about all of the cool words that I learn while reading. And there's a word that I don't know on the front cover of this book. The blurb from James Wood says, "My brilliant friend is a large, captivating, amiably peopled, build-strong woman." I was so convinced that that was not a word, or they didn't translate it or something, but it basically means coming of age story. It comes from building, which means growth or something, and Roman, which means novel. We're not even down a full day and I am developing as a person. I think I have very low expectations for 2023, which means it can only go up. I should not say that and publish that on the internet, but there you go. It is just a short time later, and I have made the decision to DNF My Brilliant Friend, which I'm very sad about, but I also am confident that this is the right decision because I was listening to the audiobook for, I don't know, an hour just now, and I saw we were coming up to the shift in parts. The first part is called childhood, the second part is called adolescence, and I was like, how many parts are we gonna get? That's it. Like, I knew this book wasn't gonna end, but I figured we'd get past something, into something. This childhood perspective I'm not really enjoying. I also looked at the Wikipedia article for what happens in this book, and I'm on page 72 right now, and about half of what happens in the paragraph for Wikipedia has already happened. So what's going to happen for the next 250 pages? I don't care enough to find out. So this is weird for me. I always have a weird relationship with DNFing things after the first like 10 pages, but I guess 72 isn't that bad either. Now, as for what we're going to do for our next prompt, I'm going to watch Tasman's next one, and if I like it, just because this is the book picked for that, and if I can think of something for that pretty easily, then I will go with that. If I don't like anything, then I will go to the Let Me Ask the Audience, which is the other one this works for. You get it.
So your prompt is...
She's huge, but she's so beautiful. She's a mammoth, of course.
Okay, so that's just mean. You want me to read a big book as my first one? That's a lot. So I have an idea. Am I going to regret it? Maybe. In my goals video, I mentioned there are a couple of big books, big series that I want to do. So I'm wondering if I can do that as one of them, just sort of independent, and then go back and rewatch the other video and take the prompt for that, and that will be the thing that I actually carry on with. Unless I finish the big book super early. Who knows? That's what I should do, and I think I would enjoy it. I think I'm gonna be Mistborn 2, The Will of Ascension. I can't think about it too hard, it'll stress me out. Let's watch the next one.
The next game that we're going to play is Dobble. Have you played this? It's really fun.
I've never seen this before.
Every single pair of cards in here, any two random cards that you pick, there will always be exactly one picture that matches. No more, no less. So we're going to play a very quick round of this, and the first symbol that I find that matches will be our next prompt. Match, dolphin! The match is dolphin!
Dolphin, okay. Dolphin. Just a picture of a dolphin. I'm gonna need a minute. See you. So there's nothing that immediately comes to mind that I can find, but I have quite a few sea-related books. 10 by Gretchen McNeil is set on an island. The Au Pair seems to take place at a beach. Did I make that up? Dreamland is set on a dock. The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I know that it's not necessarily ocean-based, but it is 160 pages, and that is nice. I've also got some, like, creature books, but that could work for anything. Shipwrecked by Olivia Dade. Fuzz by Mary Roach would probably be a good pick for this. That's about animals doing crimes, but it's nonfiction. Am I really going to read a giant book and a nonfiction at the same time? Maybe. How to Kill Your Best Friend looks like it's set at the beach. But I think we need to offset the bad luck that we've received with DNFing the first book of the year. And The Ocean at the End of the Lane has some major 5-star potential. It's gonna be sad and about memory, and that could really work for me. So this is my next read. First, who knows? Yeah, wish me luck. The first line is, "It was only a duck pond." Ducks are basically dolphins, so we're winning already. I finished The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I did it basically in 1.5 sittings, and I didn't like it. This, I will fully acknowledge, is a me thing. This is just not the kind of story that I'm interested in. I can recognize that it's good, but I didn't care. And I do kind of feel like it's pitched wrong. So it says a haunting meditation on memory, wonder, friendship, and sacrifice. But, like, it's not that. It's basically just a middle grade adventure story. It's told through the perspective of an older man coming back to his childhood home and reliving memories. And there's some interesting stuff around things that he's maybe forgotten. But the majority of it is just a straight adventure story about this kid who meets the neighbor girl, and they might be a magical family. It was fine, but like, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. It just didn't do anything for me. I'm just kind of waiting for it. And this is the kind of thing where the magic is never explained, which I talked about in another vlog, I don't remember which, where I don't need a fully fleshed out magic system, but I need someone to ask some intelligent questions. And near the very end, they started to do that. but that it's too little too late at that point. I'm wondering if this is all a bigger metaphor for something that I don't quite get, but I feel like it doesn't matter at that point. And just like the main character was boring. Letty is the neighbor girl. She's way more interesting than him. I feel like following her would have been more fun, and like as an initiation story for her, like she's coming into her magical powers, and yeah, no. So we're not off to a great start. We have a DNF and a 2-star. But let's go watch the next prompt.
Was the ending satisfying?
Alright, so I selected that the ending of the book was satisfying. I think the ending was the best part, like the framing device of talking about childhood memories. Certainly that was more of what I was hoping I was going to be getting into.
Let's get straight into it with your next prompt.
I don't remember, love. I don't remember at all. I really don't. It was an awful long time ago.
My first instinct is to reread a childhood favorite. That's a video that'll be coming eventually. But they're all like fantasy, and having just read something like that, I'm not really in the mood. The other option is like historical fiction, which again, not in the mood. Or there's some things that I have been meaning to reread, but all of them felt quite heavy. But then, I remembered that I did want to do a reread of The Blinds by Adam Sternberg at some point, because I want to push this book on everyone, but I need to have a better memory of what actually happens in this. And it works twofold, because this is about let's ignore the dog, about a new like criminal compound where you just get to live there instead of going to prison, but you have your memory wiped ahead of time. And I remember loving it so much, and I think a thriller is sort of the mood that I'm in. I'm trying to remember. I feel like this is actually pretty slow paced, but it's the closest we've come to something that I actually want to read right now. Hello. I was just filming something else and forgot that I was vlogging, so remembered, and now I'm filming a clip. I did end up deciding to read The Blinds, and it's going so well. I first read this in August of 2020, and it has remained a favorite in my brain, but I want to convince my husband to read it, and I figured I should do a reread to see if it's actually all it's cracked up to be, and it is. It's so good. It's just like I remember, but better. Like, I think knowing that the direction goes, how buck wild it's gonna get, it's so much fun. Some of them are criminals, and some of them are innocents who, like, instead of witness protection, this is what they have. And the kickoff of this is there's been a murder. Is it a murder? Is it a suicide? They don't know. There's also some new people coming in. Everyone has secrets, and it's so good. Like, it's slow. Like, there's not action scenes, but there's always something happening, and it's so intriguing, and you grow to care about these people, and the way that they like introduce the cast, because it's ensemble and it switches perspectives quite a bit, but like you can keep everybody straight because you have to pick a new name when you come to the blinds, and everyone explains their reasoning behind it, and so it's in your brain and you can't get rid of it. And I think this book is brilliant. Adam Sternberg has a 2023 release, and I'm beyond excited for it, and I'm excited to push this onto everybody, and hopefully it keeps going well. I remember the ending, like the ending being bad, but I loved it so much that I just sort of wrote my own headcanon. I don't think a book can make your favorites list as a reread, but it should. I'm here to give you an update on The Blinds. I am about 70% of the way through. I'm on chapter 28, and it's still going really well. Surprisingly, my memory of this book has actually been really good. There was just a scene, though, that I forgot had happened, but as I was reading it, I was remembering myself remembering the scene and how much I liked it and how much I thought about it for like weeks and months after. And it's amazing. This first 70% is flawless. But we're getting to the point where I get scared because I know that the very ending of this I did not enjoy. And I think it could just be a me thing, so I'm trying to keep an open mind. There's just like certain themes, tropes in books that I don't especially love, but I know a ton of other people love. So I'm thinking maybe if I approach it with that mindset, then the ending could be really good for me. But it's just so much fun. Like, we're slowly figuring out everybody's secrets, and like, this is a town of criminals, and like, oh boy, are they criminals? the slow revealing of secrets, and they're all done in a slightly different way that makes it very fun but like also believable. You're not doing the same thing over and over again. I don't want to spoil this book, but like, it's a thing about memory loss. Usually in a story about memory loss, eventually people remember some stuff at least, and I think this book is doing a good job of setting that up so that it's not a super convenient like plot device like I've read in a bunch of other books. Let me pick on a book that everybody loves, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. That has some very convenient remembering of memories, and I think that this one is a lot more believable. But I love just the mix of like how everyone is awful, but you still kind of want the best for them, and we just got a backstory that like is really emotional and sad, and like you get a whole new perspective on these people, and I'm just loving it. But yeah, the characters here are all great. There's Cooper, who's the sheriff. There's Dr. Holliday, who's like the special scientist who sets up the institute. I have her fan cast as Gwyneth Paltrow. She's very much that vibe. And I love her. You're also getting to know things about the town. Like there's one resident who keeps coy dogs, which are coyote dog hybrids, and you get to just like hang out with them, and you learn so much about these people, and it's fun, but it's also a mystery, and everyone should read this book. I was thinking maybe The Blinds just isn't the right name for it. I know in some editions it's called Population 48 because that's how many people are in the town, or were in the town. And maybe that gives you a better vibe, but yeah, I'm loving it. Can you see him? He's being precious. Be precious. Good job. So we finished The Blinds, and I'm so conflicted on the ending because like I know that I don't like it, but I don't know if anyone would. There's 41 chapters in the book, and you can kind of just stop at 39. Read 39 and then kind of skip 40, because 40 has like a big villain monologue basically that I don't think is true to the rest of the story. But again, I need you to read it and tell me if I'm wrong, because I've been wrong before. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it's happened once or twice. But this is still a 5-star read for me. I absolutely love it. Please pick it up if you have any interest in it. I'm so glad that I reread this. I did it almost entirely on audio, which I think is a good choice for rereading. There was one thing at the end that I thought happened that didn't, and I kind of wonder if there was an intention to leave this open for a sequel. It's not, like it is fully a standalone. That could have been in the back of the author's mind, basically. I just think this is incredible. Adam Sternberg has another book coming out this year. The first one, this came out in 2017, so I'm very excited. I should also mention that I did, and I have been reading The Well of Ascension. I'm a whole 38 pages in, less than 5% in at this point, but it's happening. It's the thought that counts. So the weird thing about that is we're now done with the readathon because I picked the weekend version, which only has 3 prompts. So we did My Brilliant Friend, which led to Ocean at the End of the Lane, which led to The Blinds. This vlog isn't enough. You have to do 3 books. So what I decided to do was go back to the one that I got this one for. I got this by selecting, yes, I liked the ending of The Ocean at the End of the Lane, but instead I went back and I said DNF, because if that book wasn't 160 pages, I probably would have DNF'd it. So from there, we got our next prompt. So let's roll the clip and get into that portion.
Let's see how your third prompt goes. We are going to play a game of Anomia. I'm just going to randomly pick a card and show it to you. This is blog. Okay, that's so funny.
I'm working on editing right now, and I realized I never did an opening clip for this book. So I got the prompt blog, and I immediately knew what I wanted to read because I have an arc of The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz, and I've been so excited to read it. It comes out in February, so January is kind of the time you want to read it. And it's about a bunch of writers on a retreat. Blogging, it all works really well, and that was basically all I knew going into it. I think I knew less than the blurb. I think the blurb actually gives away too much, so don't read the blurb. Just watch my vlog and listen to me. I feel like this is the only shirt that I wear in clips anymore. Goal for 2023, diversify wardrobe. So yeah, the writing retreat. It's going really well. I'm kind of obsessed with it. So all I knew was it was about all of these writers who get invited to this writing competition in a isolated remote location, which already amazing premise, I'm on board, but it's so much more than that, and I'm so excited to see where it's gonna go. So we have our main character Alex, who's selected to go on this trip, but her ex-best friend has also been invited, and there's secrets between them, and I assume with everybody else, and the writing retreat is being run by this reclusive, influential, like she's a cult leader, and I'm fully on board. She's so cool and I would do anything for her, and she might be evil. Her name is Rosa, and just like every time she speaks, you're just captivated by it, and she's already being like weird and manipulative toward all of the women, which is very exciting. And then there's another plot line about the people who used to live in Blackbriar, the mansion that she lives in before, and they had an untimely demise. There was also just a scene where they were all sitting around telling ghost stories, and it has a very spooky feel to it. It's very feministy. They're all writing sort of feminist things, potentially very gay things, and potentially magical. I'm not far enough in to call it one way or the other, but I'm just really excited. I'm at the point in this book right now where it could easily be supernatural or easily not, and I'm down for whichever way it goes. As long as like the explanation isn't stupid, obviously. And I'm just having a great time. There's 5 of the women on the trip, and you get to know each of them pretty well, and there's a staff, very Manderley vibes. Who's the housekeeper at Manderley? I want to say Mrs. De Winter, but no, that's just what her name is. Mrs. Danvers, that's it. Yeah, the housekeeper has very Mrs. Danvers vibes, like just showing up where you wouldn't expect her, not talking a lot, very spooky, very bound to Rosa in a weird way. I'm just obsessed with it. I think if you like Rebecca and you want a more modern mystery thriller, then this is it. Although I guess there's no mystery right now other than what happened to the previous couple. You know that they died, but they died under mysterious circumstances. I believe that this is a debut, but if it's not, I'm absolutely going to be reading this author's backlist because it's just super compelling, and like the way where nothing's happening, but everything's happening. I also appreciate that like we get all the beginning stuff about like Alex's life in New York and blah blah blah. Very quickly we get to Blackbriar and what the actual meat of the story is. I want to say like 12% in, which is great. And then do little flashbacks because these people have lives outside of the 20 pages we've been reading them, but still good. I'm having the best time. I'm flying through it and I'm so excited. This is an arc. I don't know if I mentioned it already. It comes out in February. So go pre-order. Go pre-order it now. You will have a good first half at least. Can't guarantee the second half. But yeah, very exciting. Hello, today I bought some pop sockets with some of my Christmas money, and I'm going to try putting them on the back of my Kindle. Drinking by My Shelf did this like years ago, I think, and I have always wanted to try it since, so today's the day. And while I am doing that, I'm going to tell you about the writing retreat, and it's going so well. I am obsessed with it. I'm 66% of the way through now, and the build-up is just so good. It's becoming much more of a mystery now, which is very exciting and making me wish I had paid more attention up until this point, because there's just so much happening in this book, and it's still really fun. Like all of the characters are super distinct, and you can like tell that things are clues leading up to where we are now. I just should have paid more attention. And it's cool too how the dynamics between all of the women are constantly in flux, or you think someone's mad at you but actually they aren't, or actually they are. And we recently got to this part where one of the girls is missing. I haven't taken this thing out of the case in years. Okay, where do I put them? I should have paid more attention because there are two specifically so that you can be in a neutral position and kind of hold it above you if you have to. And I should try to hold it with my left. We're just going for it. I love how clear the commentary is in it while not being overdone. Actually, that's not too bad. That feels pretty okay. It definitely, I can do it with the right tooth. Pop sockets are kind of hard to move after you put them on, so we're gonna go with it. These are the two that I chose, the Bee and the Galaxy, and I'm happy with it. A little Christmas present to myself, at least. It's just such an interesting story because like it can go down so many avenues and you don't really know. Oh, the thing I wanted to talk about was because they're going on a writing retreat, you do get a little bit of book within a book, but not much, and in a way that really makes sense for the story. Like if you're someone who doesn't like book within a book, you will still like this. There's so many things that have happened in it that I want to talk about, and I'm so scared for where it's gonna go. I'm worried about everybody, and I just really am loving it so much that I want the ending to be amazing too. I feel like I haven't been theorizing that much in this book when it's something that is sort of made for theorizing, especially the part that I just read where we're reflecting on what just happened and using people's words against them. Also, I'm pretty sure that this book comes out on Valentine's Day, and the writing retreat takes place over February, and they celebrated Valentine's Day, and it just, I love it when authors get that. Though I guess then technically I am living in the future, but that's cool. It's reminding me a lot in concept, not really. It's so much better than Home Before Dark, but that's sort of the supernatural vibe that I'm getting from it. But like more, is it? It's all very stressful. At 66%, I have loved every single thing that has happened so far. Is it worth it to pick up a book if the ending is bad? If the beginning is this good? Like this could pull a Survive the Night ending and I'd still probably give it 4 stars. I'm so happy that I decided to read it. I'm so happy that I got an arc of it, and also I just got approved for another arc yesterday. For the new TJ Klune, which I am not worthy. I don't know how a small fry like me got it, but I'm gonna have to rearrange all of my reading plans in order to read that one. No, focus on the book you're reading. Focus on your new cool toy. Don't play with it the whole time. Yeah, talk to you later. So I finished the writing retreat and I'm giving it 5 stars. It was a great ending. It's a lot though, and I feel like I'm already kind of starting to forget what happened. I'm just a little surprised because this was such a whirlwind of a story, and like I was feeling so great about it the whole time that to already kind of be forgetting it is really weird. Like I can remember, maybe just too much happened at the end. But I still like really highly recommend this. I'm thinking of it as kind of a mix between Lock Every Door and Behind Her Eyes. It's definitely not. Like it's far more and like its own individual thing, dealing with the writing, especially a lot of feminist themes in it, but that's sort of the tone and the wildness that you're in for. I thought it was great though. I was a little worried that it was just sort of gonna end, but it had a very long epilogue that I think this story kind of needed. I'm very excited for it to come out and to hear everybody's reviews of it. It comes out February 21st. If you're interested, go pre-order yourself a copy because like this is a wild time. I can't imagine people not like, I can imagine people not liking it, but that's just sort of a risk that you take when you're reading thrillers. I think if you enjoy any kind of Riley Sager, you're gonna like it. I have nothing but good things to say about it, other than my memory, which like, maybe it's just me. That's the last book that we're going to be doing for this readathon. I didn't realize I was picking the weekend version originally. I know the other one goes quite long, but this is our first readathon. It's a good trial run, and we'll do another one in February. Let me know what you thought of any of these books. If I have swayed you to read them, please do. And I'm probably going to be doing an individual review of The Blinds, so look forward to that. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye!